Welcome to Focus on Abilities, a program about issues affecting the lives of people with disabilities. I'm Lex Frieden. I'll be your host for today's program. I'm Professor of Biomedical Informatics at the UT Health System in Houston, and I direct the ILRU Independent Living Research Utilization Program at Tier Memorial Hermann. Today we have an interesting program of really good guests. And before we take a break and come back to meet our guest, I'm going to ask you a question, one that we'll answer before the end of today's program. If you are an immigrant in Houston, and maybe you speak Spanish or another language, and you need peer counseling or advice, support, where can you call? What's a good number to reach people at who can relate to you and your issues? We'll get back to that question before the end of the show and give you a number. So right now we'll take a break. We'll be right back with Focus on Abilities.
The following program is sponsored by ILRU, Southwest ADA Center, promoting compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
This is Focus on Abilities. I'm Lex Frieden. We're here today with a very special guest, Modesto Hinojosa. Modesto, welcome to Focus on Abilities.
Hey Lex, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
So you're a community advocate. That's the title we're using for you here today, but you're also a public speaker and a motivator and do a number of other things. How would you describe your daily life?
Well, it's pretty busy. To be honest, I love being busy. I work for a nonprofit organization where I am a communications assistant, and I also work with funding development. And one of my main motivations for every day is to help others and change their life, even if it's just a little.
So you use a wheelchair.
Yes.
You can push yourself. You're a paraplegic, right?
I'm a quad.
You're a quad.
Yes, but my lesson was incomplete.
Wow.
Yes.
So how was your neck broken?
Well, I got a weird disease called transverse myelitis, and this made a C3 spinal cord injury, and thankfully it was incomplete. And I'm able to use a manual wheelchair. Sometimes I do use a power chair. When I get tired, I can just, push around and go fast.
You're pretty athletic to be able to push that chair with a C3 injury, even though it's incomplete.
Yes.
Modesto, not many people know about transverse myelitis. It's a very rare kind of condition. I know that because my wife experienced meningomyelitis, and can you tell us something about what that is and how one gets it and how to avoid it, or if it is avoidable?
Well, to be honest, the thing that I understand and that I keep understanding is pretty much that it was like a virus. It got in my system, and it made my own system attack my spinal cord. So pretty much it was me, right? And it came out of nowhere. I was in the ranch with my grandparents, and out of nowhere I started feeling something weird in my shoulders, like they were getting numb. And it was in November. You know how November is? Yeah. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's warm, And out of nowhere I was walking, and I just felt like that. I couldn't do anything. We went to the clinic to see if they can help me or something, and of course the doctor wasn't there because it was a ranch. He couldn't talk. He wasn't there. So we went back to my grandparents' house, and there is some stairs, and when I'm trying to make a step, my left leg wasn't responding. So I get in the bed somehow. My grandma is cleaning me with an egg, because it's a thing in Mexico. And you're like, oh, they did this to you, and blah 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 blah. So we went back to the clinic, and when I opened the door, I wasn't able to get out.
Wow.
My legs were completely, I guess, paralyzed. I'm not sure.
So this occurred over a period of how many hours or days?
No, it was instantly, like 30 minutes, or like, I would say less than 30 minutes.
The symptoms, though, you recognized a little before?
Nothing.
Wow.
It was, that's it, like super fast. I wasn't able to feel anything, just feeling numb, and then out of nowhere, I stopped breathing, and somehow the doctors brought me back, and they moved me to another city because, the little ranch wasn't having all the right things.
This was in Mexico, right?
This was in Mexico, correct.
And they finally got you to a city with a hospital that could stabilize you?
Yes, well, let me tell you something that I found out a few months ago. My mom told me that once we arrived there, they just put me in a bed. I was with a bunch of lights in front of me. The doctors were asking me questions, and I just wasn't able to breathe. I had a trachea. So I wasn't able to breathe. The doctors didn't know what happened to me, and they were telling my mom, there is nothing we can do. We're just waiting for your son to die.
So they had a trachea. Some people may not know what that is, but it's a tube that they put in your throat.
Yes.
And it enables them to artificially inflate your lungs.
Yes.
So you were on artificial life support when you were in this hospital.
Yes.
And the doctors told your mom, kiss him goodbye.
Yeah, they were just waiting for me to die because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know where to take me or anything. Yeah.
And what happened next?
So after that, this happened in November 2014. And it was December 31st when I started to breathe back on my own. I was able somehow.
So during this time, you were just in a hospital bed.
In the hospital
and
bed,
they
laying.
were feeding you probably
Yes.
through a tube.
They were.
And they weren't treating you. Anyway, they didn't know what you had still.
Yeah, it took them 15 days to find out what happened to me. And it was thankfully because they took liquid from my spinal cord and they sent it to Houston.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, that's a good coincidence that I'm here now. So from there they were able to find out what happened to me, and they were doing many studies and everything, and they find out that it was transverse myelitis.
Wow. That's a story in itself.
Yes.
And since then, now where did you, after they discharged you from the hospital because they couldn't do anything else, right?
Pretty much, yes. That's what they told me. They told my mom, there is nothing we can do to your kid. Take it home, pay the bills, and that's it. No therapy, no medicine, absolutely nothing. I didn't know about baclofen. I didn't know about oxybutynin or therapy or programs for the restroom. I didn't know anything.
So you just went home to the bed on the ranch?
They just told my mom, take your kid, and that's it.
Okay.
And I also wasn't able to move.
This is like a novel. We're going to figure out what the next chapter is in just a moment. But we're going to take a break. I'll bet you stay tuned to Focus on Abilities.
Moments shared with loved ones are precious. Joy, enchantment, connection. It's why we travel. At Houston Airports, we know the magical flight begins the moment you secure your parking spot and embark on your journey. That's why we work so hard to bring you the most convenient parking solutions that are the best fit for your trip. If you're traveling for business or leisure, Whether your voyage starts from Bush Intercontinental or William P. Hobby Airport, our parking team at Valet Parking, Eco Park, Eco Park 2, or Terminal Parking is here to give you a first-class experience with a big Texas smile. We're here for you to ensure this moment and every moment in between will be filled with great memories that will last a lifetime. So travel smarter, park smarter, and get more of the moments that matter.
This is Focus on Abilities on HTV. I'm Lex Frieden. We're here with Modesto Hinojosa. Modesto, you, when we were on before the break, you were in Mexico on a ranch, in a bed,
Yep.
able now to breathe. How did you figure out the next step?
Well, let me tell you. So they sent me home, no medicine, no therapy, no nothing. I was still having the little tube right here connected. So my mom paid for an insurance to go to a hospital, right, in Mexico. And we thought, okay, we pay for this insurance, we're going to get treated good. Well, I was in a bed and an ambulance had to come and get me because I wasn't able to sit or be in a wheelchair or anything.
Right.
I'm not sure what is the process on that, but I just couldn't. I'm in a bed and I'm with the tube right here and I see a fly. I see a fly going around and I'm just like, what am I going to do? I can't move, you know? And I was just telling my mom, and I wasn't able to speak because of the tube. So my mom, whenever she was looking at me and checking on me, and I'm like, there is a fly, with my lips, because I couldn't speak.
Yeah.
I'm like, there is a fly. So they were around like this with the fly, moving it and everything. From there, the doctors were, I can't talk about it that much because they weren't the best, in my opinion. And when I was there waiting for the next appointment, I remember people seeing me like weird, like I was an alien or like an animal or something weird.
Yeah.
And I can't remember that feeling until now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And that's why I want to make a change, because it's not that I care now, but I can feel what others feel.
Yeah.
And that's just not good. And I would love to change that.
So that was the way you first sensed that, was in the hospital in Mexico, right?
Yes.
So what happened after that?
From there, my mom took me to another hospital that we had to pay, and they took my trachea out, and we ended up coming to Houston because we know that Houston is big in the medicine world.
So they took the trach out in the hospital
Yes.
in Mexico.
Yes.
And then you flew to Houston, or
Yeah, we drove here.
you drove,
Yes.
and you were still laying down in the car?
Yeah. I was able to see it, and finally, somehow, I don't know, like it just came down to it. My mom was like, I'm taking you to Houston because we know that Houston is good with the medicine world and everything. So we ended up here. I was going to one of the hospitals in Harris County. From there, I met a social worker that referred me to Shriners. They were having a building right there in downtown. And I was there for 4 months.
Well, let me ask you a question before you got there.
Yep.
Was the coming to Houston complicated because of your immigration status?
No, it was because of, how I was.
So, but how did you get to Houston from the status of the border?
With the tourist visa.
So you had a tourist visa.
Yes.
Wow, that's perfect. And and then when you came to Houston, you found some social workers.
Yeah, I found a social worker, and she helped me apply for this insurance that is for is for special kids with weird disease or special disease, something like that, like Medicare, but it's not Medicare.
Right.
So yes, thankfully I was able to get that until I was 21, and I was able to go to the hospitals, get therapy, get whatever.
Well,
I needed.
you mentioned Shriners
Yes.
Hospital,
Yes.
and they were you a patient there or an outpatient?
I was a patient there. Yeah.
And where was your mom during this time?
She was with me all the time.
She stayed in the hospital.
She was going back home, but she was coming during the day.
Wow.
Yes, because she had to take care of my sister.
Back in Mexico.
No, my sister
She came here too.
Yes.
And besides the Shriners, what
Mhm.
other hospitals were you able to?
I went to
access?
Memorial Hermann because before leaving Shriners the first year, I got a heart attack.
No. Okay. So, this is great. I'm glad you can laugh about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me
You
too.
got a heart attack, right?
Yep.
Was that related to the transverse myelitis?
Nope.
Totally independent.
Independent. They were looking for my heart. They were looking for everything. They even did DNA tests to my sister and my mom and me, and nothing came in. And that's why I have a defibrillator.
Okay. So, and once you got there, they're treating you for the heart attack.
Yes.
Were they also able to treat you for the myelitis, to give you rehabilitation or anything of that nature?
No, because my insurance wasn't covering that.
Huh.
Yes, too expensive.
So, the rehabilitation you got mainly at Shriners.
At Shriners, and I believe the name is Quingmanis or something like that. It has to do. It's connected with Harris County. That's what I
Quentin
remember.
Meese.
Yes,
Yeah,
I believe
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yes.
So that's a good hospital too.
Yeah.
Well, that's an amazing story. And how many years ago was that?
The therapy or
Yeah.
transverse myelitis?
The myelitis. When did that first occur?
9 years. It's going to be 10
9
years. November.
So then you were in Houston. You had. So it's probably 5 years since you've been capable to manage yourself
Yeah.
in the wheelchair. Can you live alone now? You live with your family? What?
I live with my family, and I believe I can live alone. Just transportation,
Yeah.
using Metro Lift.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Good days, bad days.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned that you're working with an organization trying to help other people
Yes.
learn from your experience. And that organization is?
Living Hope Wheelchair Association.
Okay. So Living Hope Wheelchair Association is a group of people that I met probably 10 years ago. And they were a small group of advocates. And many of them were immigrants from Mexico who had been working in Houston and then been hurt on the job, disabled. And they had to support one another. In many ways, the way you did, they had to find a solution.
Yes.
And they followed somewhat the same path as you. We'll talk more about Living Hope in a minute, but I want to take a break and let people catch their breath. You are watching Focus on Abilities on HTV.
Ready to spice up your day? Downtown Houston has exactly what you're craving. Swap your weekday dinner for award-winning takeout. Treat yourself to bold, unique flavors or fresh from the oven classics. Drink outside the box, from breweries to cocktail bars. There's always something new to taste when you join us downtown. Visit downtownhouston.org to find restaurants and bars for your next delicious adventure.
Houston 311, now available as a mobile app. Take a photo, enter your location, report an issue. The quick and easy way to report non-emergency issues or request city service information. Download today on the App Store or Google Play.
We are a city of collaborators who build on one another's inspirations, strengths, and cultures to shape a future we all can share. We are more than 7 million ingredients that make something that cannot be discovered, tasted, or invented anywhere else.
St. Arnold, Texas's oldest craft brewery, shipped their first keg of beer in 1994.
Hi there, welcome back. You're watching Focus on Abilities, and we're here today with Mr. Modesto Hinojosa. Modesto, now you, after you got rehabilitation and became more kind of self-secure, I guess, right? Then you had to go back to school somewhere, right? And you were living on the north side. You went to, tell me the school.
North Forest High School.
North Forest.
Yes.
What grade were you in when you started?
I was a sophomore.
Sophomore?
Sophomore, yes.
So you went clear through high school there.
Yeah.
And that's where you studied English?
I wouldn't say that. I just went through the years, and I'm pretty sure I learned English on my own, because I would say it wasn't the best. They were having this program, ISL program, and for me it wasn't the best.
What's the ISO program?
It's a program where they put kids that need to learn English, and they learn English there. They teach you English.
So it's kind of like an immersion program.
Yes, pretty much.
That's the best way to learn.
Yeah.
I must say the experience you've had is amazing, but it's not unique. Many other people have disabilities caused by things they don't understand, and many other people have experienced some of the same awakenings that you experienced. You remember particularly the way people were looking at you in the hospital in Mexico, but you must have experienced that here as well, even in the schools?
I would say no.
Really? So
Yes.
you felt pretty well accepted in your school?
I did. There was only, okay, so all the students were nice to me, and they were pushing me, because at the moment I wasn't that strong, or like I didn't know things, because I was a teenager. I didn't know many things, like how to get around, how to push myself, all of those things. And there was this other girl in a wheelchair. She wasn't that friendly. She was always serious. I was trying to make conversation to learn something, or like to go somewhere, but nothing. But the students were nice to me. They were always looking good at me. They were even pushing me.
Wow.
Yeah, in my wheelchair.
Wow. So if you needed help, you felt like you could ask them?
Yes, or sometimes I didn't even have to ask.
Wow. And what about the community more generally in Houston? You feel generally accepted?
I do. I would say if I was in Mexico, I would be dead probably.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story about, it's not really funny, but it is a story about Mexico. When I went there, when I broke my neck, I was 18 years old, and my friends told me in the hospital, look, you have to get out of this hospital, and we're going to take you with us on vacation to Acapulco. And so they figured out that I couldn't sit up for a long time, so they put a mattress in the back of a station wagon. And they laid me on the mattress in the station wagon, and they all sat in the seats. And we went to Nuevo Laredo, and we took an airplane from there to Mexico City. And my friends were carrying me on the airplane and everything. We got to Mexico City and we got into the hotel in the center of the city, and we tried to get a taxi to go and visit some sites. And every time the taxi would see us, they would pass by real quickly. And one of my friends said, you know, it's because we have the wheelchair. So they would hide me behind some pole or something, and the taxi would stop for them. And then while it was stopped, they would grab me and lift me in the taxi and fold the wheelchair. And I had to sit in the front seat of the taxi. The taxi driver looked at me the one time. He said, in Spanish, he said, he asked me if I was sick, enferme. And I understood that. I said, no. And then he said, you must be, you know. And I said, no, you know, I'm just here. And that was kind of an experience there. So here you probably have some other experiences.
Probably little experiences, but I've been accepted everywhere, in my opinion. And I also love that there is so many things for wheelchair users, like sports, opportunities also too. And also there is, I can go around. Like I got here, I got up to the metro lift, and I was able to get in on my own, you know. I saw the stairs on the side and I was like, oh goodness.
But you found the ramp.
I found the ramps on the side and I was able to use them.
And when you got to the door, there's a button.
Exactly.
And you could come through the door.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. The opportunities here are endless. Whatever I can manage to go on my own and do things on my own.
So, and you're committed now to helping other people.
Of course.
Particularly people who've had experience maybe as immigrants or as second language English speakers.
Yep.
The organization that you're working with is called Living Hope Wheelchair Association. So the Living Hope, can you tell us something about that organization?
Of course. Living Hope is a non-profit organization that helps people to better their quality life. We receive donations, we spread them out to the community, whoever needed. And of course, if we have things for all the disabilities, we're going to help them out. And we're just there for them. We have a group of social workers. We do distribution of medical equipment and medical supplies. We also do activities during the month. We have, like, during the week, we make community meetings where we teach them things, whoever comes to our meetings. And on Saturdays during the month, we also do recreational meetings. And we can go outside, we play bingo, we do fun activities.
How do they reach Living Hope? How do they reach you, Modesto?
To me or
if people want your advice, can they get it through Living Hope, and what number do they call? How do they reach you?
Of course, they can reach to our social medias, Living Hope Wheelchair Association. There is also our website, Living Hope Wheelchair Association. We have all the number there, all the social media, whatever it is right there.
Okay, so I know I follow the Living Hope Wheelchair Association on Facebook. You post some great videos.
Yes.
I love to watch that, and people should be in touch. Check them out on the web. Give them a call. They can help you, and you can help them. So I'm Lex Frieden. I appreciate all of you watching today. I want to thank our guest, Modesto Hinojosa, for being here with us. Please stay tuned next time for a new edition of Focus on Abilities. We'll be back, and we appreciate you watching this episode. Thank you very much. I'm glad to say happy day.